All right, quiet. Shh. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Music Media Club. Next up on the interviews is going to be Simon, who recommended Imaginal Disk by Magdalena Bay. Everyone give it up. Hello, Simon. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking. I believe you're the only one that has asked me that whenever I ask someone. You know.
These new gens, man.
These new gens, man. All right, let me pull up my notes so I can get you the questions that you need to answer. But start us off, quick summary of the album.
I thought it was a very consistent album. Like, it was like consistently good. There weren't any like peaks or dips. And I like to listen to it when I'm like driving late at night. Or if I just want to like chill and listen to an album, is normally what I put on. And it feel like put together and like refined, like they put passion into it, and it's not that you didn't just release it.
Let's spread the chairs out a little bit. We're kind of each other right now. Okay, there we go. Pop duo. They had like a big banger back in like the early TikTok era. I think it was called Kill Shot. It was like early 2020s, I think. And then I just recently found out about him now. It's a duo of Matt and Mika. Mika does most of the vocals. Matt is on production. Mika does some of the production as well. Okay. Love this album when it came out. And I still love it now. But question for you. For pop music being such a baseline and simple style of music, what does this album do that separates it from its mainstream contemporaries?
I think a lot of modern pop is more like loud and just like in your face, and this is more of like a just like laid back kind of relaxed tone.
It does have loud moments on it, but I think the path to get there, like it's more like just instrumentally like interesting.
Yeah, I think there's definitely like a heavy focus on instrumentals in these songs.
Yeah, I agree. Also, like for it to drop in 2024, which was such a big year for pop music, you have like breakout albums from Sabrina Carpenter. You have Charlie XCX dropping an album that got super high praise. You have all these other different like pop people in the mainstream that are like dropping good albums, but this one still manages to be kind of like in its own area. Yeah, so definitely praise for that. For this album being so musically rich, though, what stood out to you lyrically?
I think Death and Romance, just because it's like a short and sweet song as far as lyrics go, and it's simple and it gets to the point. Talk about how you can like devote all this time into like a relationship or something, and it can just all go out the window like that.
I think this album, like in whole, doesn't really come to like a full like lyrical concept or anything like that, but it like does touch. It has a lot of like examples of like duality, like each like Death and Romance, two separate things, and it has like a bunch of songs where it's just like word and word sort of a deal, and they're kind of like explaining themselves on that spectrum that they're talking about. And it also has a lot of at least in like the first 4 songs I want to say on the album, he has a lot of with like self-image and like I don't want to say it like insecurities maybe is kind of like a blanket statement, but
yeah, I think that just like the first like 5 songs of the album is pretty like lyrically
tied in.
Yeah.
So you can kind of pick and choose where you want to, and then I think Death and Romance is like the breaking point, and it just kind of translates into like a bunch of love songs almost.
That's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah, so like once you hit Death and Romance, the rest of the album is just like straight up love bangers pretty much. And then moving on to the next question, we're going to break it down instrument by instrument. Since this album is super instrumentally rich, which song had the best drums on it?
I'm going to go with Killing Time.
That is my selection as well.
It's pretty groovy, and I like it.
It is super groovy. I could listen to that drum loop like on repeat. Like it is so smooth. It's like neo soul drums, but they like made it new wave. It's like absolutely insane. And then, what would you say has the best synths?
I kind of want to do that one, but
just say a song. What song has a bunch of like twinkly keys and stuff?
I just put like Death and Romance for the piano part.
Okay, the piano chords.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's a good answer. They have good chord progressions and stuff. For me, since I would probably put Image, it has that like real wiry lead in the beat in the middle, and it fits so well with like the drum perks and stuff.
No, I went with Image for bass because it's just like.
Well, in the second half where they have that huge payoff at the end, where it's like it's the chorus, but then like that huge like bass synth hit just comes in. And then I also, since honorable mention for me would probably be Watching TV. That swell at the end, and it pairs so well with the vocals as well. What about, you said you already gave your one for bass. For me, bass, I would put Killing Time as well. Again, groovy. Like that, the drums and the bass on that song are just the straight up foundation for that whole like ride. Is insane. What about guitars?
It's not on the notes.
Not in the notes?
We don't gotta talk about that though.
What about That's My Floor? The distorted guitars, man. No?
I mean that if I had to give it to one song, it would probably be that part.
Okay, that's valid. I didn't
really flush.
To be fair, I think That's My Floor is like the only prominent song that has like a big guitar like riff to it. But yeah. Finally, closing out this section, what song had the best vocal performance?
There's a lot of choices you could go with on that one, but I'm gonna go with Death and Romance just because I like the lyrics a lot. So the vocals, just gonna go with that.
Pairs well with the breaks and stuff, and then transitions out the chorus nice. For me, I think my personal favorite song on the album is Cry For Me. I've talked a lot about this song in like my personal life a lot. Just it is such a perfect song. The string section is so good. Like the way that they come in, it gets me every single time because they build up on it so much, and then when the vocals come in, it's just like super like world building, which I think what this album does like super fantastic is like just building world with sound is a very good attribute to this album. Then also when her vocals get like really fleshed out at the end, like those nasally inflections almost. And then also I think Vampire in the Corner, she has the most range on that song. She hits like the really high falsetto note, and I'm like, oh my god. And the vocal melodies on that are good just as is. Fifth and final question though, what song would you most want to see live?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Image.
That's a good answer. That is a very good answer.
It's big, it's kind of in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And I think that one would be interesting to see live because I think they do a lot of like live drums and electronic like program drums. That one has probably the least live. So it would be cool to see if they were able to work in like live drums, like a live drum set into that song. For me, it would probably be, this song isn't like on the upper echelon of the album for me, but Tunnel Vision I think would be so fire to see live because they have the electronic drums and the live drums in the same song, and that is like that reminds me of like Tears for Fears almost, like really old school, like just drums and I don't know. The way they go in and out of the sections on that song is super crazy. But with that being said, we are going to give our rating for Imaginal Disk by Magdalena Bay. It is on the board, ladies and gentlemen, so go check that out. Everybody, what we give Imaginal Disk by Magdalena Bay? 8.7! Thank you, Simon.
All right.
Yes. Next album we have up is Product by Sophie, which was recommended by Martin. Okay. Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. All right. We're on a roll with this second time that has been asked. Okay. I know. All right. Start us off with a summary of the project. Give us a little context if you would like.
A little summary of Product. Product is a mix of a bunch of different sounds to bring pleasure to the ear. It's a mix of hyperpop and electronic vibes to form a great catchy beat.
Yeah. Sophie is like a very big figure. Didn't she recently like pass away?
Sadly.
Yeah.
Sophie died? I didn't know that. Wait, how old was she?
Wait, are you guys being sarcastic or?
No, I didn't know this.
Oh yeah, okay. She fell off a balcony, right?
Oh my word.
I didn't think you said she died. No, I didn't do the research on how she died. I just.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh yeah, she like fell off a balcony.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it suicide?
No, I at least I don't think so. We don't know like
How old
that.
was
Let's
She
do
was
it right
like
now.
she was in her 30s, I
it? It
think.
was in 2021.
Yeah.
Why did you push
Wait,
her?
I did. She's
Okay.
an accidental fall in Athens, Greece. Her fearless trailblazer electronic music. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, 34.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it was a very unfortunate and untimely death, but Sophie, excuse me, did a lot for the trans and LGBTQ plus community, and was a very big figure in the public eye of that whole space. So props to Sophie for that. But moving on with the questions, as we know, Sophie is a very beloved figure in her respective area of craft. What impact do you think this album has with this like being her first big moment of recognition, musically speaking?
Honestly, because Sophie gained a lot of recognition for this album, especially based off of why she posted it. I'm not gonna go into detail with that, but Sophie gained a lot of recognition for this album, and it definitely inspired a lot of other artists to push the musical boundaries, especially finding new vibes to rave music.
Yes, I definitely think this works differently than like most dance albums do, because I feel like the Daft Punk is like early like stages of dance music, and they kind of like set the whole tone for that whole scene. And then I feel like I'm not super into dance music. Like I don't know like the underground people of like the early 2000s and stuff. What like products Daft Punk, not no pun intended there, but what like people that were inspired by Daft Punk and didn't really like make it as far as they did. But this one I think definitely changed the tone up a little bit. It's more modernized. There's a little bit, it doesn't feel like typical dance music.
Yeah.
But anyway, with that being said, third question. With her style being easy to identify and so unique for the genre, what's your favorite element of her production style?
But I think my favorite part of her production is the way she uses the sound to drag attention to the listener, even if the sounds aren't too good, which they definitely aren't, because the ear-wrenching, like high-pitched noise in LOVE or Love.
Oh yeah, Love is the one song that's a little bit too like harsh, like to the ears for this one. But I mean, what are you gonna do about it?
Exactly.
Cause that's like the only like main skip I would say this album probably has. I forget what the outro sounds like. I'm not gonna lie, but
The outro? Oh, I remember. It's like, well, no, I don't. But still, it was a good outro. That's all I can say.
For me personally, I love her use of space,
Mm-hmm.
because kind of like what you were saying, like drags into like the audience, you know. But I think the first 3 tracks on this album are like almost very choppy, and they don't really have like a distinct time signature to them at all. But they have groovy elements to them that I would like to see in like an actual DJ set, where they like bake in like fleshed out beats on top of them, like in the intro. I think Bip, is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that has like the cheeky little like vocal like loop that goes on. And stop making fun of my word choice. Anyway, and this also is like, this reminds me of like old, like, I don't want to say corny in like a mean way, but like old corny, like early, like mid 2010 stuff that like, I feel it's like the Musically area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When people were like really riding the high of that. But I think this, in the way that she does it, is a little bit more tasteful. So I commend her for that. Last question. Say Sophie was in her like Dr. Dre era, all right? I know there's no one has ever uttered those 2 names in a sentence before. But anyway, she's curating a project. She's looking for artists, vocalists to get on her production. What active artists now are you looking to put on some Sophie beats?
So I think I'm one, sadly, because I can't really think of anybody else who would like really bond with Sophie, I should say.
Okay.
But the only person I believe was Charlie XCX, because
They've worked together before.
yeah.
Come on. Think of someone. Frank Ocean.
No.
Yeah, I know.
No.
That was a joke.
Honestly, not Tyler, not Doechii either.
Doechii would go on a Sophie beat. Vince Staples rapped on Sophie.
Okay, so on a beat or on like
anything. Like Sophie is curating a song, is producing a song for this artist. Who would you like to hear do that for? Because I think she's versatile. She could do rap, she could do club, she could do pop.
honestly been Dochi, yeah.
All right, yeah. No.
Or Tyler the Creator. I feel like okay.
That would be strange. I'm not. Tyler has a huge hand in his production though. So you want the production styles to clash in a good way.
Yes.
Okay. That's interesting. I didn't think of that one. For me, I have 3 people. I'm a huge rap fan, so I said all 3 rappers. I picked Blade. If anyone's familiar with Drain Gang, I would love to hear Blade on a Sophie beat. That would be absolutely fire. I have Danny Brown. He's done the club techno scene before. He would fit great on a Sophie beat. And then this one solely comes off of their recent song it came out in 2023 with Snow Strippers. Uzi. I would love to hear Uzi on a Sophie beat.
Like
Lil Uzi Vert. Yes. I think that Uzi would absolutely
honestly,
kill
I
it.
can hear that because he did a song with Baby Metal.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, Baby Metal and Snow Strippers would be like that. Those 2 songs worked absolutely insane, and it's not typical Uzi production. So yeah. Lastly, we have to give our rating for the album. I want to preface that not everyone was a huge fan of this album, so this is going to be our lowest rated album so far. But just know, me personally, I gave it an 8. What did you give it?
8.5, I think.
No, I think you said 8.9. It's on the board.
Well, there's not.
Wrong twin.
Wrong twin.
Yeah.
He has a twin. I don't know who's who yet. Sorry, but anyway, our overall club rating of Product by Sophie is a 5.7. Thank you for coming on and discussing music.
Oh yeah.
Tomato.
Shut up.
So Ben got fired, so I'm here now.
Oh yeah.
Thank God! Okay, so we're doing the album review for Ohio Motels, The Treasure Is All Yours. So please bring out our interviewee, Ben! Sit down, really got 5 minutes for this.
Yes, I love it. I love a good warm welcome to my own show.
Yes.
Yes. So this is our show
Oh, yes.
at the end of the day. Okay.
All right, can you please give us a quick summary of this album?
Yes, so this is an album by a pretty underground up-and-coming artist out of Ohio. And this album, The Treasure Is All Yours, is about his coping with his mother passing away from cancer when he was 19, and him finding love to then kind of deal with that. This is kind of him after the coping, and then like kind of proceeding through his life afterwards through that journey.
I found that very touching.
Mm-hmm.
It was very evident in like the lyrics.
Yes, very lyrically focused album, very personal album.
Who and why would you recommend this album to?
I feel like any like fan of like sadder music, and I don't want like the sad music to be like the main quality of this album, but something that is very touching, something that maybe people could relate to if they have like a family member that was had passed away or anything like that, or just in general. I think this album is very artistic, and like it's very like. This album he wasn't originally going to put out. Like a bunch of his friends in his corner, and I found this via a newsletter from a popular YouTube channel. May have heard of it. Hive mind, I'm wearing the shirt right now. Anyway, never mind that. I found out about this album and through them, and then I was like, how is this guy not have more listeners? But he definitely needed the push to do this album, and it's a very heart-wrenching album. Very emotionally, just kind of puts it on a canvas. So I think anyone that has a heart in their soul, listen to this album.
So this album is, it's a continuation of his previous album, I'm Sorry for All the Trouble. Why did you choose this album over that one?
So I actually listened to this album. I haven't listened to the other one. But that's
Look at this guy.
Like I said, I found him through this project. I will eventually go back and listen to the first one. He put up a post on Instagram, and it was inspired by 2 things. It was I have notes.
I saw that post. I did
Yes.
research.
Good job. Good interviewing or good interviewer.
I was gonna listen to the first album he did, but that's above my pay grade. And you didn't even listen to it, so.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't task you with something that I think was out of your area of expertise. Yes, different outfits for same album. Here we go. All right, ask your question.
Outfit change. Okay, so this album is a continuation of his previous album, I'm Sorry for All the Trouble. Why did you choose this album over that one?
Ohio Motel made an Instagram post himself about the inspiration behind this album, and it's very, like, I don't want to say intricate because it's very, like, personal and, like, about something that actually happened in his life, but it was derived from a Virginia Woolf book, and a movie called The Ghost Stories by A24 Films. Basically, the Virginia Woolf book was in the movie, and it like got knocked over by this husband who was a ghost, and he was like watching his wife or lover at the time go through like the mourning or grieving phase of losing him. And the line that was showed in the Virginia Woolf book that was knocked over is had a little blurb in it that said, "The treasure is yours," or something like that. So that kind of finished the sentence of his first album. What was it? Sorry for All the Trouble, correct? And so, sorry for all the trouble, the treasure is all yours. You see in the movie that the wife or lover writes something on a slip of paper, puts it in a crease in a wall, and the ghost then of the husband's ghost then goes and reads this slip of paper. You don't know what is written on the piece of paper, but it's a sheet ghost, so he loses his sheet and he lets go. That at that point in the movie, you know that that's what that means or symbolizes. And Ohio Motel's interpretation of it is that he said, or what was written on the slip is, "The treasure is all yours." So that is kind of like what he is saying to his mother, and saying like, let go, you don't have to like keep looking down on me, or it's a very touching subject, but I love that he got that inspiration from it, and that it was kind of like the motivation behind this whole project.
All right, Eric, 3 more minutes of yeah.
Okay. So, from the album, what is your top song, either production, lyrics, or overall, like mood-wise?
Overall, my favorite song on the album is probably Cough Drop. It's the most singular song on the album. I think it has like this like menacing like motion to it. Like his vocals really drive home, and I like even lyrically speaking, I think it's very juxtaposed to the mood of the whole album as well. And I don't really know what it means in terms of the context of the album, because it like even lyrically it is very different from the rest of the content on the album. But that one is probably my best favorite overall song. And another one that I would like to shout out is probably New Vale City. I think that's probably the most underrated song on the album. It has like that weird, quirky hyperpop almost outro at the end that I think is only a door for what Ohio Motel could do in the future.
Yeah, I really love that like ending melody of Cough Drop, and I was like, I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit more, because a lot of his melodies, like, they're very interesting melodies that I want to like see explored for like his next album.
Yeah.
So listening to the lyrics of the album, I noticed that he doesn't have like as many lyrics compared to like other artists. It mostly just focuses on the music. So does that show a weakness in his lyrics, or is that like he has a simplicity with his words and that he's able to get his point across?
No, I honestly think if you're able to say a lot with a little, I know some artists say a lot of nothing with a little bit of words, but I also think that's determined on the type of music that they make. But I think Ohio Motel is a great songwriter, and I think it speaks volumes that he's able to string lyrics together in like an album experience. So I think that's probably like the more I want to say like important skill to have. Not important, because having a good like a good like pinpoint message to drive through in one singular song is a skill to have in itself. But I definitely like that he's able to come up with these well thought out albums, well thought out projects that they all kind of flow in one experience.
And this was just something I wanted to put out there, because the way he structured his album, his last song called Ouroboros, which is basically symbolizes the cycle of like rebirth and like the beauty of life. So I thought that was very, very fitting for what the whole album was.
Also, it like in the intro, you get like these reverse piano keys. That to me, like artists have incorporated that in their music tons, but in this context, it just feels super like nostalgic, and like it's a new song. Normally, you get nostalgia for songs that you've grown up with and stuff like that. It puts you in a place of like this homey sort of feel, and it's like very, if you feel like you're in the setting that Ohio Motel was in when he was making this album.
So class, what rating did we give the album?
9.2.
Thank you.
Did you listen to that album, Emily?
What album even is it?
Laura. Thank you. I would try to get her attention. Finally, closing out the. Bless you. When the ghost read the slip. I'm in the hat right now. What? Diggy? Diggy, yes, Diggy.